And this was to be a joint meeting with the Lake Hickory Club, but there was some miscommunication, but we do have some of those members as visiting Rotarians, so
They didn't sign in.
I did not sign in. Well, I do see Rosanna Brown and Floyd Lucas. Any other Tuesday members here today? Okay. And no other visiting Rotarians. So, guests of Rotarians in the dining room down this row. Guy, I don't think you qualify.
I'd like to introduce everybody to Dr. Andy Chang. Andy is originally, was born and raised in India. He moved to the U.S. in 2004 for his residency program in Johnson City, Tennessee. And last April, he moved to Hickory. He's boarded in internal medicine and he works as a hospitalist at Catawba Valley Medical Center. But prior to coming here, he was in Virginia and had visited a Rotary Club several times and was getting ready to join that club. He was just really impressed with Rotary ideals, and he called it dynamic, what Rotary is able to accomplish. So he's really interested in Rotary, and we met, and he's our guest today. So welcome, Andy.
I'm trying to guess today. I'd like to introduce Guy Garrido.
Thank you. I don't see anyone I don't recognize down the center. How about over on the far side of the room? We have guests over there? No, everyone's, I recognize everybody. So I'm standing here by Frank Young. Do you have anything to tell us about last week's blood drive?
Thank you, President. It was okay. It wasn't great. Our goal was 40. Unfortunately, we fell short. One of the reasons being that it started at 1 o'clock and they couldn't figure out their printer computer system until about 1:15. So we had a group of, I don't know, John, there were 10 at least that had to leave. They actually, once they figured it out, they were out in the parking lot looking for people. Unfortunately, they didn't find all of them. But I want to say thank you so much for those of you that gave, and those of you that worked. This woman was there like all day. Thank you. So thank you. Next year.
Thank you, Frank. The image of running out to the parking lot to get blood donors sounds like something that should be done under cover of darkness.
John, several did go on over to First Pres.
Oh, okay.
There were several of our members over there.
Great. Thank you to those that donated. Thank you, Frank. Thank you, Jan. All right. Get through a few announcements really quickly, and then we've got something exciting. Hope Garden, where we were supposed to go do service on the 20th of October, was turned over early due to the dry weather. The garden is finished and everything's been turned. The sweet potatoes have been dug. So we will possibly be still keeping that 4 p.m. time today, or that day, to go meet at the Hickory Soup Kitchen, but Robert Locke's looking into that, and we'll update you next week on exactly what's happening for the 20th. There are volunteers needed for the Race for the Cure on October 15th. There's information on that. I put the information on who to contact over next to where David Williams is selling the raffle tickets, for who to contact to volunteer for that. Alan Huffman had said that he had an announcement he wanted to make.
The Hickory Museum of Art this Saturday, October 1st, is having the Foothills Folk Art Festival on the square in Newton, on the streets around the courthouse. About 90 artists from southeastern U.S. From 10 to 4. Good chance to see some interesting art and see the county seat of Newton for those of you who have never been way down there before.
Thank you, Alan. Terry Livingston had something to it. Alan, don't forget your deposit in the cart bucket.
I took care of it.
Okay.
Thank you, President. I want to thank everyone that came out to the football game last weekend. I hope you had a good time. The marching band was good. We are fast approaching homecoming weekend at LR next weekend, and the Bears Club has lots of fun events, so I wanted to let you all know all about them. On the 7th of October, we have our 28th annual Bear Memorial Golf Tournament. We need golfers, so we'd love for y'all to think about coming out. We have an 8 o'clock and a 1 o'clock start time for the golf, and I've got all the information if you're interested in that. That evening, we have our 15th annual gala, which is at Moretz Mills. We've got Gary Lauder and the Smokin' Hots coming out to play, and food and beverage and silent and live auction. We're looking for auction items, so if anybody has anything you'd like to chat with me about with that would be great too. And then, of course, the next day we've got our Hall of Fame inductions on Saturday and a football game also. So hope to see everybody come out and support. Thank you.
Thank you, Terry. With regard to last Saturday's football game, I want to give a shout out to Jennifer Clark for going in on her birthday early to set up for the tailgate and directing me in what to do. I had sat there for a few minutes waiting on Jennifer, sitting on top of actually the coolers that needed to be filled. So, thank you, Jennifer. And now pardon? Oh, you're welcome. Now I would like to ask Alan Huffman and Amber Clausen to come up, please. Today we are inducting Amber as a new member. Not sure if this is my first time, so I'm not sure the protocol. I guess I do this first and then you speak and then Amber speaks. Is that okay? Fellow Rotarians, it is the duty of our Rotary Club to add new members from time to time so that we may not only increase our usefulness and influence as a club, but also to extend the spirit of Rotary throughout the community. Today, we welcome to our ranks and admit to membership Amber Clausen. Rotarian Amber, you have been elected to membership in this club because your fellow members believe you to be a worthy representative of your calling and also to possess qualities that will permit you to exemplify the true spirit of Rotary in your public, business, social, and private life. I wish to impress upon you that you have been admitted not only to the Rotary Club of Hickory, but to a worldwide association, and by virtue of your membership in this club, you will be welcomed into the fellowship of any club, Rotary Club in the world. The honor and privilege of Rotary membership carries with it duties and obligations. You will be expected to attend the club's meetings regularly, to perform your share of club service, and to place your knowledge and talents at the disposal of the club in its task of carrying the principles of Rotary into the daily life of the community. I ask all members to rise. Rotarian Amber, in the name of the Rotary Club of Hickory, I now formally admit you to membership in this club. And juggling, affixed to your all right. Affix to your lapel, or I'll let you affix to your own lapel. The emblem of your membership. Fellow Rotarians, I commend to you our newest member, Rotarian Amber, who has been loaned the classification of Historic Preservation. There's your name badge. The marvelous new magnetic style clasp. Loan the classification of Historic Preservation and charge you all to welcome her. Amber, I ask you after the meeting to please stand by the door and greet or get to know your fellow members. Now ask Alan to say a few words about Amber.
Well, Amber is a native of Boone and graduated from Steve Mull's school up there at Appalachian State.
John Olson.
I'm sorry. Forgive me, John. Forgive me. She then worked in Charleston, and through the College of Charleston got a master's degree, and subsequently got her PhD in public history at Middle Tennessee State University. Amber has been in Catawba County for a year now, doing an excellent job as Executive Director of Catawba County Historical Association. I did it, Historical Association of Catawba County. I can't get the new name straight, just like the Rotary Club.
Thank you, Alan. Amber, do you have anything you'd like to say?
Just a moment, ma'am.
Yes.
That's the first time I've been called Rotarian Amber. Thank you. That was very nice. I just wanted to say thank you. When I first started my job here a year ago, the club invited me to talk a bit about the Historical Association, but I also took the opportunity to introduce myself and tell you a little bit about what's important to me, and that is service. And I believe it was both Mr. Olson and Mr. Pugh afterward who came up and said, "You sound like a new Rotarian to me." And so I'm so glad that that came true, and look forward to finding a home here. Thank you.
Packet of information for you and your certificate of membership, which is suitable for framing. Thank you very much. Welcome aboard, Rotarian Amber.
Thank you.
Right then. And now, like to, Susan Saylor has our Rotary moment.
Give her a wave hand.
I am truly honored. Thank you. Get started. There are no birthdays to celebrate from last week unless we are remiss. Are we missing any birthdays from last week? Okay, well, happy birthday to everybody else. I talked to Linda Lutz this morning, and she is doing very well with her eye surgery. She had a macular hole that needed repairing, and she's in no pain. She goes back to Duke tomorrow, and she'll be back at Rotary next week, so we'll give her a round of applause and welcome when she comes back. I have emailed Lynn. Lynn Lair is still at CMC Mercy Hospital. She's supposed to get out tomorrow. She emailed and said that she was doing okay. I'm not quite sure how to interpret that, because it could have been doing okay or doing okay. I just don't know. But don't know when she'll be back to Rotary, but if you do get in touch with her, please keep us informed of her progress. And then Charles Snipes, I think, has some information about Jeff Brandenburg. Charles?
Brief update on Jeff. As most of you realize, his surgery last week was postponed. It was scheduled for noon on Friday. Friday morning, his surgeons decided they wanted to do another procedure. Had nothing to do with the cancer. And they did that Saturday morning. Everything's good. He came home. Surgery is at 12 o'clock tomorrow. So please continue to pray for Jeff.
Keep him in our prayers. Thank you, Charles. Okay, for a little lighter fare here, I have some expressions that we've all heard before, and some of these, are on those office posters that people put around about, being great and doing achievements. So here's one of them. If you think nobody cares you're alive, try missing a couple of car payments. Before you criticize someone, you should walk a mile in their shoes. That way, when you criticize them, you're a mile away and you already have the shoes. If at first you don't succeed, skydiving is not for you. This is one I like. Give a man a fish and he'll eat for a day. Teach him how to fish, and he'll sit in a boat and drink beer all day. If you lend someone $20 and you never see them again, it's probably worth it. If you tell the truth, you don't have to remember anything. Let's see. The quickest way to double your money is to fold it in half and put it back in your pocket. And And my favorite one is, a closed mouth gathers no foot. Thanks.
Thank you, Susan. And now Mark Tigg will introduce our program.
Today I'm pleased to have Steve Aaron with the Salvation Army as our speaker. The holidays, it seems like, are right around the corner, and Steve is going to talk to us about the Christmas Bureau and the Angel Tree. I'm sure many of you already know Steve from his years of banking in the Hickory area before he went to work at the Salvation Army about, 6.5 years ago? Ladies and gentlemen, Steve Aaron.
Well, thank you, Rotarians. It's an honor to be here. Probably about 38 years ago, I could have said fellow Rotarians. I was a Rotarian in Madison, Med-End, up in Rockingham County before moving to Hickory in 1985. But I want to first to say that I am speaking on behalf of Captain Bethany. They had officers council this week out of state, and she had this program scheduled, so she asked me to fill in. And I hope that after 14 years on the board and the last 6.5 years as a development director, I can at least share a little bit about the Salvation Army. I know there are many of you who have been involved with helping the Army over the years, former board members, and you've funded many projects for the Salvation Army over the years, and we certainly want to express that appreciation. First, let me tell you, in case you're not that familiar with the Salvation Army, just a little bit of detail. First off, a lot of people lose the fact that the Salvation Army is a church. So I'm going to read, and let me tell you, you have a packet with you, and this is the second page if you want to follow this. I promise you I won't read it word for word. I'm going to just hit some highlights. But let me cover the fact that the mission of the Salvation Army states that the Salvation Army, an international movement, is an evangelical part of the Universal Christian Church. Its mission, its message is based on the Bible. Its ministry is motivated by the love of God. Its mission is to preach the gospel of Jesus Christ and to meet human needs in His name without discrimination. So the Salvation Army was started in 1865 in London. Last year was the 150th anniversary of the Salvation Army. The Salvation Army assigned its first officer to Hickory, North Carolina in 1925. So 91 years ago, the Salvation Army came to this community and started helping meet the needs of the hungry, the homeless, the people in crisis and so forth. And of course, if you are certainly aware that our campus is over on Lenoir Boulevard, too many people only recognize the fact that the family store is there, but if you turn in that entrance, you'll drive down to a 19.5-acre campus, 6 buildings, almost $7 million worth of real estate that this community has helped the Salvation Army acquire over all these years since we've been there. And with these buildings, we have a number of programs. I want to just mention a couple of them. Of course, we have an 84-bed homeless shelter. That homeless shelter last year provided over 19,000 nights of stay to roughly 558 different individuals, men, women, and children. Just to give you a flavor of what we experience every day, is last week I asked the shelter director, I said, what do we look like? He said, we've got 65 people, 17 children. So something we used to never have to handle was children in the homeless shelter. It was usually transient men and women who occasionally got displaced for some reason and they're temporary. So it is an ongoing 365-day-a-year program. We have a transitional housing program. This is a program that 11 men at a time can go into a 2-year program, and these are men who have jobs but no homes. And we are particularly involved in working with the prison system to take men who've reached parole time They have jobs, but no housing, and really don't have the means to go out and establish housing initially. So they come into the program over there and work with our counselors. We have the Boys and Girls Club. Of course, that club's been there 25 years. We serve roughly 250 children a year. Most of these kids are from 5 to 18 years old. A lot of them come out of foster care, single parent homes, parents who just literally cannot afford to pay the traditional after-school program cost. It costs them $10 a week to come over there, and a lot of those people are on scholarship. You know, so the club is involved in a lot of things, helping these kids with their schooling, their homework, and things like this. It's a great program. We do have over there also Crisis Help Center. Our caseworkers meet clients 5 days a week. Last year, the office in Hickory distributed $830,000 in assistance. A lot of that is power assistance. Duke Power and DSS have chosen the Salvation Army as the funnel or the venue, the way they distribute their money to clients, because they feel like the Army does a great job in qualifying people for assistance. We do have, we operate 9 family stores in our territory. I will tell you that we are the largest geographic, we call it a coordinate now rather than a core, because we cover 8 counties all the way from here to Ashe County, Avery County, Watauga. Wilkes County was just assigned to us 1st of July. And I guess it's a recognition of the resources that this coordinate has and being able to administer these more outlying areas who struggle to raise the funds to provide assistance and so forth. So we have just a great organization over there. That's probably enough, other than I would like to say that one of the things the Army is noted for is 82 cents of every dollar that's donated goes straight into the programs that we administer. So the Salvation Army is committed to keeping its overhead and the percentage that it has to use to operate at a minimum. So that's something the Army is certainly noted for. Now, as Mark noted, 6 weeks from tomorrow is the first day of bell ringing, November the 11th. Roughly 10 weeks from now, the Christmas Bureau will be over with. I mean, it's still summertime, and we're having to think about this. And so Captain Bethany asked me, if you will make sure, I'm going to talk a few things about the Christmas Bureau, but make sure this packet goes with you, because we need a little help this year. First question is, what is a Christmas Bureau? Well, most of you have probably been involved with that. And I stuck my head in the door at the United Way this morning just to ask Jenny. I said, Jenny, when did the Christmas Bureau start? It started in 1992. So roughly 24 years ago. This is a group of agencies that got together to meet. The goal is to provide toys, clothing, food, and other resources to the families in need in Catawba County at Christmas. And I guess the question is, who receives this help? Well, last year we served about 600 families, roughly 1,200 children with assistance here in this county, and of course the Army is involved in all the other counties that we serve. One of the things that has changed fundamentally, the actual registration for to be included or receive gifts from the Christmas Bureau starts next Monday. Department of Social Service, the Salvation Army, and ETRICM are the 3 places that families can come and apply to receive a gift or assistance at Christmas. And One of the things that the agencies over the 24-year time realized is that we had allowed a lot of abuse to creep into the system over time. We weren't going through a formal application, making people verify that they really needed the assistance. They applied through the schools and they just gave us names and we tried to serve them. Year before last, the total families was almost double what we did this year, this past year, and the number of children was up about 50%. But at the end of that first year, everybody felt good that we met the needs of those who really needed the help. Now, there might have been a percentage of people who just weren't prepared or did not make the effort, and we anticipate this year that there will be more families applying for Christmas assistance. But anyway, the process starts during the month of October. Is when we take the applications and qualify people. The angels are prepared. Let me just note that the Salvation Army is part of this. The Christmas Bureau is providing all toys and clothing to children from 0 age to age 12. So we have, the Army has the burden share because that's where most of the kids are, you know, in that group. Okay, distribution. The Christmas Bureau will distribute toys and all the other items that go out at the Christmas Bureau on December 12th and 13th this year. This is a really early, the way the calendar worked, it's a really early date. And I will be honest with you, Captain Bethany really struggled and tried to work with the United Way to push the date back a week to give us more time, but they felt like logistically it did not work, and so they've just promised some extra help because of the short time frame between November 1st and when distribution takes place. Now, I will call your attention that the front page of that group, that thing has a 2016 Angel Tree participation. And there's several ways. One is you can become an Angel Tree sponsor, and that's commit to provide gifts for a child, or you know, if a business wants to take 10 angels or whatever. And then the next thing is to be an Angel Tree host. If you operate a business, that is a good place where we could place an angel tree where the public or the employees can simply take an angel. You can agree to do that. You can hold a toy drive. And some businesses do have people just bring in toys, and then they let the Salvation Army then basically, based on what the child is requesting when they apply for assistance, then we try to match those gifts up. Stockings, stuffed stockings. We do have a stocking that we provide to each child. We have a lot of churches that do this for us. And then you can volunteer your time. You know, we do use a lot of help over at the week before distribution. We will be placing all the angels out the first week of November. So you know, it's just a big process. You know, E-Tri-CM, the United Way, Toys for Tots, all these people make this a very successful venture. And I'm sure many of you had an opportunity to tour the facility out at the fairgrounds when we do this. But you know, Captain Bethany wanted me particularly to ask you, if you have the means, whether it's at a church that you go to, or a civic group, or something, we are concerned that the turnaround time, and then if we have angels that are not adopted, and how much time we have to fill those. I will tell you that a lot of people might not be aware. Some years the Army spends over $30,000 in buying toys to fill the hole that that we have left by angels not being adopted. Last year we were fortunate. We didn't have to use a lot of the toys, so we probably have $15,000 to $20,000 worth of toys and gifts in the warehouse so that the Army, as a stopgap, you know, if we need to use that. But anyway, that's a little bit about the time schedule. It is going to be here before we know it. We're asking for your help. If you're in a position to do that, you can take that form and just let us know. So at this point in time, I'm going to just pause and just ask if there are any questions. Yes.
We can't hear you.
Okay. You said that the families have to put in an application for the Christmas Bureau. What are the qualifications? Obviously, I'm sure there's an income cap, but what is it that your basis for their need and why you would or would not include them?
Well, they have to bring in their household income. They have to prove that they are the guardian or somebody for the child. It's not an onerous task. It's just something just for whoever the caseworkers, and they do come from DSS, from our place, and the League Crisis Help. So it just gives them some basics to basically say, yes, these people really do need this, and I'm just not out trying to get a hand out.
Are there criteria for what goes in the stocking?
What about the stocking?
Criteria for what goes in the stocking?
There is when you adopt the stocking, we have the stockings already out in our lobby, and there's a suggested list of things. You know, you don't put food in them and things like this. It's just small items that that a child could use.
Steve.
Yes, sir.
Speaking to your service of providing shelter for the homeless, I think you said you had 85 beds.
Right.
What percentage, what kind of coverage is that, I guess, for the homeless? Are we on top of those?
Well, I
homeless
tell
numbers?
you, I chaired the capital campaign to build the shelter 14 years ago when I was president of Catawba Valley Bank. And we built a $1.8 million facility over there it's 2 floors. The top floor is for women and children, the bottom floor is for men. And a lot of those rooms are suite type rooms where maybe six women or 6 men will stay in them, or a family. And we have a barracks type area with about 28 beds in it. But we built it as a 64 bed, and during the economy in the last 10 years, there were so many homeless, we had to make some changes to add 20 additional beds there, which we were able to accomplish. And I might tell you that their average stay, they can stay up to 90 days unless they have some particular circumstance where they're almost got a job or almost a resident. But that's to just basically, you know, some of these people, you're dealing with, some people have mental issues and things like this. If you let them, they'll camp out there for a year if you let them stay. You know, so it's a program to make them make progress. I think we do a pretty good job. Now, we'll tell you that the requirements for our shelter, they have to pass a breathalyzer every day they come back into that shelter when they come in at 3:30. They have random drug tests. A lot of people, though, do not want to follow any rules, so that's the ones you see camping out in the woods around the city and so forth. But one thing I didn't mention is that we have a kitchen that served almost 50,000 meals a year. We serve breakfast and dinner 365 days a year. And so we feed the people in our shelter, and we feed anybody else that wants to walk in for a meal. No questions asked. So it's a great resource for the community, and one that I think a lot of the broader public just doesn't realize. Even in a prosperous community like Hickory, we still have our share of the homeless and people that struggle with a place to live.
Thank you, Steve. If you'll stick around after, if there are any more questions, Steve will answer them for you. By way of thanks for your time here, we offer you a Rotary tote bag, good for the grocery store or any other goods or items you need to carry with you. Now, go to David Williams for our raffle, if you'll bring the tumbler up.
John?
Yes?
Will our Rotary Club once again be purchasing books that will be distributed at Christmas Bureau?
I'm not sure. I'll check with the Rotarian who's heading up that committee. I don't see any reason why we would not. David, if you'll bring that around over here and give that a tumble, and then Steve, if you'll draw the ticket for us. I will look into that, Ann, and make that announcement. Thank you, Steve. All right, Steve's new best friend is the person holding ticket, last four numbers 336. Oh wait, we have numbers that you need to know. Today, receipts were $55. $55, and the pot is $233. And there are 48 cards and 2 jokers. Thank you, gentlemen. And so the winning number is 3363. Oh, sorry. 3363. Steve Thomas. Perform the necessary verification. Certainly. Oh, 2 of diamonds. So sorry. Here's your free lunch, Steve. Thank you. I thank our visiting Rotarians for joining us today. I want to remind you of a few important dates coming up. The cart fundraiser in Morganton is October 25th. The Sunrise Rotary Club is having their annual dinner dance on October 29th. And also today is the last meeting of September, so this is the final day of the cart bucket match. So please, coins, folding money, checks, negotiable securities, whatever you have that you can drop in there that can be exchanged for value. Our anonymous donor will match that up to $100 that we've collected. So now, please stand and join me in the 4-way test. Of the things we think, say, or do, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned?